strange things about Prince Edward that everyone ignores. Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, is the youngest of 4 children born to Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Unlike his siblings, Edward had a relatively low-key and scandal-free life. He and his wife, Sophie, Duchess of Cambridge, were staunch supporters of the monarchy and favourites of the late Queen. Because of their efforts to keep their personal lives under wraps, not even royal fans know much about Edward, but that doesn't make him a total mystery. As a core member of the royal family, Edward has taken on more and more responsibilities over the years. We've compiled some of the most interesting and bizarre moments from his history, including rumours of feuds with his siblings, disagreements over royal titles, and his strong relationship with the press. The Duke of Edinburgh is more than meets the eye. During public meetings, members of the royal family typically shake hands with loyal subjects. At royal events, members of the family also take a moment to walk around the audience and shake hands with some of the crowd. This practice actually started with Queen Elizabeth II somewhat recently. The documentary Queen of Peace details her reign and how it came to be. As the princess explained in the documentary, you can't shake everyone's hand, so don't start. However, after Queen Elizabeth chose to meet the public more personally, a handshake became more common, almost expected. This was cited by Harper's Bazaar. Many members of the royal family, including Princess Diana and Kate Middleton, have taken up the practice of shaking hands with members of the public as a form of formal welcome. However, there is one member of the royal family who has consistently chosen not to do so. Edward was anxious about how long it would take, according to the Mirror, so he and his wife addressed everyone and waved, but he didn't pause to shake anyone's hand, even though his mother had instituted the custom. Outside Buckingham Palace, the Duchess of Edinburgh was delighted to meet with well-wishers, but Edward, who wanted to speak to everyone, apologised for not shaking hands because he was too busy. Clap your hands no matter how famous your family is, or how ordinary your family is. Family ties, particularly those between siblings, may be difficult. There is no legitimate heir to the throne but Prince Edward, the youngest of 4 children born to Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Elvis's father. Princess Charles was born in 1948, Andrew in 1950, and Edward in 1963. According to Ingrid Seward, a royal biographer cited by the Mail, Andrew and Edward, who are 4 years older than each other, appear to have had a sibling rivalry when they were little. Andrew, who was far noisier than his younger sibling, frequently teased the more reserved sibling. The monarch, Prince Edward Andrew, brutally attacked his younger sibling and tormented everyone around him. Over the years, Edward's character has stayed very different from his brothers, who frequently had tantrums at school. Seward noted that if he spotted Andrew attempting to steal a certain cake, he would try to grab it first. His older brother, Edward, was a star athlete and actor who went on to become head boy at their school. It appears that Edward and Andrew have always had quite different personalities, which has led to a strained relationship between them. The royal family was rocked by the scandal that broke out when word got out that Prince Andrew had an affair with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Despite Andrew's denials, he was accused of sexually abusing Virginia Jeffer when she was 17 years old. Despite his best efforts to close the case, the lawyers eventually reached a settlement where Andrew agreed to donate a large sum to her charity. Just as the case was about to conclude, the Crown took action to remove Andrew from his position. Despite the fact that the Queen and her siblings met numerous times to deliberate over how to deal with Andrew's behaviour, Buckingham Palace released a statement stating that the Duke's military affiliation and royal patronage had been returned to the Queen with her approval and consent. This deprived Andrew of his military and royal titles. After Charles polled his siblings, including Prince Edward, for their thoughts on how to deal with Andrew's condition, they unanimously decided to depose him of his titles, relieving their mother of some of the burden.